we got ourselves a code red DEFCON 1 bajillion. We have a massive issue, specifically speaking, with the liberal, corrupt, ethics violating House Speaker Greg Fergus, who keeps muting the microphones on the House floor unlawfully. Now, I've started a petition. You may or may not be aware of this. You can find the petition at stopmutingthemic.ca. I'm going to link it down below in the description at the top, as well as the pinned comment below, because this entire clip is a series of events that have already occurred of either Pierre Poilievre or just a conservative team being completely silenced by this House Speaker. And it's very important already. I think we're top 100 petitions ever in Canadian history. But the more signatures that we get, the more serious the government has to take this and take away his ability to mute the microphones. Again, the link for this is stopmutingthemic.ca. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you share the petition link with all of your friends and family so we can get even more signatures. Here's the best example as to why we need to take away his ability to mute the microphones. Enjoy the clip.
We all knew that the NDP leader had sold out the people and signed on to a costly coalition with this carbon tax prime minister to tax people's food, punish their work, double their housing costs, and unleash crime in their communities. But he claimed that he had torn up the carbon tax coalition so that Winnipeggers would not fire him in a by-election. But as soon as the votes were counted, he betrayed them too and taped back together this carbon tax coalition. How can anyone ever believe what he says again?
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. It's a good one for Pierre.
There's a very uncomfortable situation here. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The NDP leader was terrified he was going to lose a by-election in Winnipeg, a NDP stronghold. So he put out a Hollywood production where he claimed he had torn up the carbon tax coalition onto which he had signed up, that he was going to stop fighting for his pension and start fighting for the people. But once the votes were counted, betrayed them again. He is a fake, a phony, and a fraud. How can anyone ever believe what this sellout NDP leader says in the future?
Wow! And he's gonna mute the mic! Come on, man! Come on! We pay our taxes. We deserve to hear what the hell's going on. He's gonna say it's unparliamentary because you can't say fake and phony, you can't name call. And then he's gonna get up and call him a wacko, I bet you. Pierre's down in the corner, and Andrew Scheer on the bottom right, the Conservative MPs there, they're looking further down the Liberal side possibly, and they're arguing with visible frustration.
Colleagues.
Come on! Dude, I am this close to doing a petition. You motherfucker! He did it again! You son of a bitch! Is the video muted? I thought it was paused. No, I thought it was a statue. I thought it lagged out. He's just standing there. This is a video. Look at him. It's running video. Stone face, stone cold Greg Fergus. What the hell is happening? I am sorry to everyone who's using headphones. I'm sorry. You should know not to use headphones when I'm streaming. Frustrating. I don't like to swear. I try to keep it PG. It's politics. It's politics. I never know who's watching. But for crying out loud, man. Are you kidding me? Put some L's down. Put some L's down for Greg Fergus. This is absolutely an abuse of power. I gotta calm down, dude. Holy shit, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for yelling. I'm wearing headphones. How loud am I? Hello? Yeah, I'm pretty loud. Sorry. Okay. Bring it. Testing. Okay. So, sorry for yelling, folks. I got these headphones on in my basement. I gotta get out of control. Greg Fergus has constantly abused that microphone mute button. And he needs to face some sort of repercussions for doing so.
Colleagues, there are some long-standing traditions of this House which we should endeavor to respect. It is important that we ask questions in question period to make government accountable to the people of Canada. The questions, by their very nature, should be pointed, should be tough, should be specific, and the answers should also be clear. But colleagues, for this to work, we also have to make sure that we work within the rules that we have. There were some important questions which were asked, but were not related to the administration of the government. And therefore, there weren't responses to that. And it is important to make sure that we do that. We have so many other tools available to us as members to make the comments that we need to make outside of question period, to comment about how we want to do. Now, while the microphone was off, there were, I would suspect, although the chair didn't hear that, there might have been some strong words which were exchanged between members.
Yeah, you, Greg.
Ask members to please remember that Canadians are looking at us.
Hell yeah, and the majority of them looking at this fucking stream.
Really befitting of each of our constituencies and the country as a whole. So,
You, Greg. Trying to gaslight people, bro.
So with that in mind, let's move on to the next question.
After 9 years, the Bloc Liberals aren't worth the cost. The Bloc has not only voted for $500 billion in appropriations that are centralizing, bureaucratic and inflationary, but they want to radically increase taxes on gas and diesel for Quebecers in the regions. Unlike the Conservatives who want to cut taxes, we are proposing to give a tax vacation for Quebecers on gas and diesel. Will the Prime Minister accept my common sense plan to reduce gas by 10 cents a litre for this summer? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. The Conservative leader has a problem. His messages don't reach Quebec. Quebecers don't want to hear his ideas taking a step back in the fight against climate change. It's something that Quebecers understand very well. So his solutions are attacking the Bloc or Quebec members or Quebecers themselves to try to take steps back in the fight against climate change. It will fail because the Conservative leader does not understand Quebecers and does not understand, in fact, most Canadians that know that climate change is real and we need to tackle it. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Speaker. When Conservatives were in power, the Bloc was almost eliminated because we reduced government and allowed Quebec to have autonomy. Quebecers were in charge of their destiny, but they have centralizing powers and policies, and that is why these two parties are cooperating together. Will he finally accept to unite the country with a federal government that is smaller so we can have Quebec and Quebecers that are stronger? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
How is it that Pierre and the Conservatives are the only ones advocating to do something good for the country?
Has existed because of the
What of all the parties?
But let's put this aside, Mr. Speaker, to underscore the reality that we'll always be here to defend Quebecers. We'll always be here to work. Order. Order, please.
Bit of a zoo.
Hey.
Hey. Keep it down over there.
for Marc-Aurèle Fortin. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to mute the mic as well.
I would ask the members to continue their discussions behind the curtains, please. I will ask the Prime Minister to start again from the top. Mr. Speaker, we've just seen, finally, after months, the Conservative caucus in Quebec wake up and finally talk. The reality is that when we talk about the environment, the Conservatives in Quebec say nothing. When we talk about the rights of women, the Quebec Conservatives say nothing. And we have seen shameful behavior from the Conservative caucus in Quebec, from the Conservatives, because they refuse to stand up for Quebec values. They tackle other Quebec members. This is shameful. They should apologize to all Quebecers.
There you go, Pierre. Smack him down.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Mr. Speaker, he has just gone off the rails. He's lost control. He is so angry. Why? Because he has just learned that Quebec Liberals are turning their backs on him. Why? Because he has there's a common sense Conservative team that will cut taxes, build homes, fix the budget, and stop crime. Why not accept this? There's still time to accept this common sense plan. Give people a tax break so Quebecers can have a tax-free vacation. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. True, Mr. Speaker, sometimes I do stand up as a Quebecer to defend the values of my nation, of my country. These values as a Quebecer and a proud Canadian, we want to defend the environment, tackle climate change, protect the rights of women. Yes, I will always be passionate when it's time to defend fundamental rights for Canadians. I'm here to do this. Unfortunately, the Conservative Party continues to propose Quebecers a step back, and in terms of climate change, they're denying it. They're taking a step back in terms of the rights of women. That's not what Canadians and other Quebecers want.
9 years of this Liberal NDP government, taxes up, costs up, crimes up, time's up. When the Prime Minister promised to quadruple the carbon tax scam, the leader of the NDP said, yes, sir, anything for his $2.2 million pension. And now, the Canadian Truckers Alliance released a damning report. The carbon tax scam adds more than $4 billion cost to farmers, families, and food. Why don't they just call a carbon tax election now and let Canadians decide whether to quadruple or axe the tax for good?
The Honourable Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
Newsflash, Mr. Speaker. We had a carbon tax election in 2021, and the Conservative Party had a platform where they said they would put in place carbon pricing in this country. Maybe he just has to go and look back at their own platform, Mr. Speaker. Again this morning, the Parliamentary Budget Officer was in committee saying that 8 out of 10 Canadian families where carbon pricing applies get more money than what they pay in pricing, Mr. Speaker.
Not true.
Unfortunately, the Conservative Party of Canada continues to
I've done dozens of polls
this issue
with 30,000 votes minimum that say 8 out of 10 Canadians pay more than they get back.
Calgary, Forest Lawn.
The PBO proved that orange jumpsuit handcuff-wearing minister is lying when he said that more Canadians pay...
W in the chat, folks. W in the chat. W in the chat. Come on. He wore an orange jumpsuit and he got handcuffed for climbing the CN Tower, being a radical climate activist. W's in the chat. Don't you dare mute the mic. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, every freaking time. Power-hungry little man in a dress. Little man in a dress in a green chair. Are you kidding me? For crying out loud. That was good. That was really good. That didn't break no rules.
I know it's the first day back for members. We've all spent this time with our ridings. I'm going to ask the honourable member if he could rephrase this question because he knows that you can't...
I hope he says it again, word for word.
I am going to ask the honourable member to rephrase his question, to not use language which is normally considered unparliamentary. The honourable member...
Not one single sentence
from the
of that was or word was unparliamentary.
What this orange jumpsuit wearing, handcuff loving minister doesn't understand is that the PBO proved Canadians pay more into this scam than what they get back. And it's done nothing to stop a single forest fire or flood. It's a scam and nothing else. And the leader of the NDP continues to prop this carbon tax scam up so he can get his $2.2 million pension. That's why he voted in favor of it 24 times. Call a carbon tax election now so Canadians can axe the tax and kick this carbon tax costly coalition to the curb.
Let's go! W's in the chat, man, for Just Raj. That was good. He said it again. He's got the stones in the spine. What are you going to do, Speaker? Mute the mic?
It's really important for all members to choose their language and use their words judiciously in a way that is respectful.
That was the most respectful way of putting it.
Honourable Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, that kind of language from the member opposite is totally inappropriate. Canadians deserve, but it's what
victim.
Conservative leader and his caucus who would prefer.
Outside the house, right?
Colleagues, I could not hear the Honourable Minister give her response. It's difficult for me to hear that so that I can make sure that the language is correct. The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House, please, from the top.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the language from the member opposite was completely inappropriate, and quite frankly, Canadians deserve better. But unfortunately, that's what we've come to expect from the Conservative members and their leader. And the reason why they're focusing on the price on pollution is because they want to distract Canadians from the real agenda, where they cut pensions for seniors, they cut childcare for families, they cut and defund the CBC at a time of increased disinformation. Mr. Speaker, they want to hide their real agenda from Canadians because they know that they won't like it. But, Mr. Speaker, they need to be under that scrutiny and they need to be honest with Canadians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I mean, he was pretty honest.